guys! So we're gonna make donuts tonight and I'm excited. We're gonna make mini cake pop donuts and we're gonna do something slightly different than we've done before. We're gonna make them nut free. So if your kids need to take to school stuff that's nut free, if your house happens to be nut free, today's your day. So one of my favorite nut free seeds to use is pumpkin seed. So I just buy them as whole seed and then I grind them up in my food processor to make a pumpkin seed flour. Now we're going to take advantage of the fact that it's already green. So we're going to do the basic 1 minute. Hi! So we're going to do the basic 1 minute muffin recipe. So we're going to do 4 tablespoons of flour. So the same as if you were using an almond flour, but we're going to use a pumpkin seed flour so that it is nut free. Either if you happen to be nut free or if your kids need nut free for the school. Now, because we're going to do a cool, fun boys one with this, we're going to add a little bit of poppy seed to it as well. So we've got pumpkin seed and I'm going to put about a half a tablespoon of poppy seed. It's going to make them look kind of gravelly. For the boys ones, we're gonna try something really cool. We're gonna do dinosaur donuts, because why not? So in there we've got our 4 tablespoons of flour, the same as you would for any other 1 minute muffin recipe. To that we're going to add the same 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder or soda. Pinch of Himalayan salt. 1 tablespoon of oil. I'm using olive oil, but you can use coconut oil. You can use really any oil that you want. As long as it's a good fat oil, you can have it. Okay, then to that we're going to add 1 egg. By the way, we're going to listen to food songs and donut songs tonight. Oh. Okay, so that's the basic muffin recipe. 4 tablespoons of flour, 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of oil, and then you add to that whatever flavor you want. So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like, and then we're going to divide it into 2 separate flavors, because we're going to try to make it look like dinosaur eggs, because I'm adventurous and I like fun food. Okay, now I'm going to say, just based on texture, and I know it wants to be a little bit thicker, I'm going to add a little bit more poppy seed to it. So I'm going to say another half of a tablespoon for a total of 2, because I want them to be nice and firm. You don't want them to be overly doughy when you're putting them into a maker, or they'll splatter everywhere like crazy. Now for the girls ones, I've got clear cups because we're going to have some cool stuff going on there. Okay, so texture wise, this is what we've got. Now I'm going to divide into 2 cups, and half of it we're going to flavor peppermint, and the other half we're going to make chocolate. So we're going to add a little sweetener to each cup. And I find I add this to taste, and it depends on what kind of sweetener I use. Okay, so for the green one, we're going to use a peppermint extract. And I'm going to say this is really only about 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of mix when it's all done. So really only a couple of drops, and it's going to be really nice and minty. Now, if you want it to be a really bright green, you can add a little food coloring to it. If your kids are dye-free, I wouldn't bother with that. But I'm going to add... Actually, you know what? Let's not. Let's do dye-free this time. Okay, so that's that one. Now this one, I added the sweetener, and we're going to add cocoa to it. And I use a mix of black and red cocoa. I just buy it bulk. I read that black cocoa was the best. and unfortunately it really makes things black. So I bought the red so that I can make a mix, and I find it's a really nice color. The stuff I used to have was a lot lighter cocoa, and I don't know, I really like this. So we're going to mix the chocolate into this one. And these ones are nut free because they're made out of pumpkin seed flour. And again, you just buy the seeds and grind them up at home. I make all of my own nut flours, my meals, and my nut butters. I just buy whole nuts, and I save a lot of money that way. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have used a cake pop maker before, but it's really easy. So we're going to do a couple that are just chocolate, and then we're going to make a couple that are mixed. I think maybe one of just chocolate. And you just pop it into the cake pop maker. And then we're going to make some that are a mix of, we'll make one that's just mint. And then we'll make some that are a mix of chocolate and mint. And then I made some really fun gummies to go on the plates with them. So we're going to mix these ones that they've got a base of chocolate, and then we're going to put the mint in the middle and a little bit of chocolate on top. And this 1 minute muffin recipe is the perfect amount for your cake pop maker. So we're going to make one batch of these, and we're going to make one batch of some really cool girls ones. We're going to do mermaids and unicorn, because these are the things that Dory loves, and these are the things that little girls love. So I'm just going to put a little blob of chocolate on the top, and then I'm going to tip you guys over so that you can see what it looks like, and then we're going to close it up while we mix the next ones. Okay, and I got cups because I've been using like every cup in my house every day. Okay, so let's tip you guys a little bit so you can see. And then you just close it up, and the light will tell you when they're ready. Now, because these ones don't swell, they don't cook on the top, so we're going to flip them. Now, the next one, I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. I know I feel like I'm shouting over it, and then I feel like I'm yelling at you guys. Okay, so this one we're going to do the same thing. We're doing a basic 1 minute muffin, and we want it to be nut free. So with this one, we're going to use, I make sesame seed flour. Now this is what the seeds look like, and when you grind it up, it makes a finer flour. So we're going to use a combination of a coconut flour and a sesame seed flour. So coconut flour, and actually let's use coconut meal because it doesn't swell quite as much. So we're going to use a tablespoon of coconut meal, which honestly is just shredded coconut. And that's how they get you on things like that. Like an unsweetened, dissected, shredded coconut is coconut meal. So you can buy it that way. If you want it a finer grind, you can grind it at home as well. But it's the same thing. And then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of sesame seed flour. And then same thing, baking powder. Salt. Oil. And our 1 egg. Honestly, I use this recipe for everything from mini donuts to muffins to my evening snack. I will make breakfast muffins with them. It's just so quick and versatile, and you can make anything with it. Okay, then we're going to add the sweetener. And again, sweetener of your choice to taste. I buy a couple different ones bulk, so it really just depends on what you prefer. And honestly, everyone is different. One person will tell you they really like the monk fruit blend. One person will really like stevia. One person really likes Truvia. It's so personal to taste. And what I really like about this one is it makes a very light color, and we are going to add some food color to the girls' ones. Okay, so I'm going to divide this into 3 cups. And actually, let's add just a little bit more. I want it to be nice and cakey. So we're going to add a little bit more. And then we'll divide it. And you can smell when these donuts are ready to flip too. I'm just going to grab a little fork to flip them. Now, it is a little bit more work than when I made them with a traditional cake because you have to flip them, but it's really not a lot of work still. Okay, so now we've got our 3 cups, and we're going to do something to those. We're going to flavor one with banana. And we're going to flavor one with a peach mango. Okay, and then we're going to put a little color into each of these ones. So we're going to say that the purple one is no flavor. Get the color out of here. And I think I'm going to have to pop those out quick for you before I color the next batch. So just give me 1 second to grab a plate. Okay. Oh, unrolling away from me. Ooh, hot. Hot potato. Okay. Okay, we'll close that up to warm up again. So I'll move these a little and tip you guys so that you can see. I don't know. I got a bad lighting. I'm going to take pictures when it's all done too, and I'll plate them for you guys nicely. So we're going to put these into the fridge so that they can cool. And we'll continue on with the others. Okay. So purple is going to be the no flavor. And then let's say green for the banana. And teal for the mango. And again, if your kids are dye-free, then make this with a colored pumpkin seed. It won't be as bright, but it still is kind of fun, and it's still different and interesting. Okay, so that's the teal. And the purple. Let's see. I'm I'm very, very technologically savvy. I don't know if you guys have noticed this about me before or not. Okay. So, and then this one is going to be the lime green. And I think we're going to put one more drop of green in there. Okay, so we're going to do one that's just teal for the mermaid plate. One purple. And one green. And then we're going to layer the other ones for the unicorn. And then it'll end up layering our flavors as well, which I think will be a nice combination. And if you ever guys are ever, you know, handy and hanging around and you want to hop on and read questions for me, we can do buddy system, and then we can kind of question and answer while we do recipes if you want to. It's super easy. I just send you an invite, you let me know you want to hang out, you accept it, and then you get to be my bestie for the night. Ask any questions that people have, and then if you guys want to know certain things about the recipe, if this worked or if that worked, different variations, then I can kind of chat with you guys at the same time. So if that's something you guys want to do, let me know. You know, send me a message or say hey one time. I'd like to do that. So I'm going to let you guys see these before I close them up, because ooh, they look so pretty. Okay, so we're going to close those ones up. And while that's happening, we are going to make a little bit of icing for on top of them. And for the boys' ones, we're just going to do a basic chocolate. So I'm going to use just an unsweetened baker's chocolate. And we're going to use just a small piece of that. And then just a tiny little bit of coconut oil. You don't want a lot. Usually I say about 2-to-1 ratio. But I find if I try to melt it without a little bit of coconut oil in there, it burns before it melts. So we're going to melt just a little bit of chocolate. I'm going to throw that in the microwave. And then we're going to do a colored one for the girls, and we're going to use a white raw cacao base. Now this you can use in your baking as a butter substitute. Basically it is white chocolate flavored butter, for lack of any other description. So when it's in its solid form, it's solid, but it melts just like a butter. So we're going to melt it. We're going to add a little bit of sweetener and a little bit of coconut milk and some color to it. Okay. Now if you have like the Krista chips that are already sweetened, feel free to just, you know, melt a couple of those and use those. It's quicker and easier. I sometimes have them on hand and I sometimes don't. I like a lot of chocolate, so sometimes we run out of them at my house. Okay, let's take a peek at these. They're not quite ready to flip yet. The color on them is going to be insane though. Anybody send nut free for their kids for school? I'm kind of curious about that. I do have a few close friends that are nut-free even just for themselves at home, or they have to send them that way for school. Okay. So I'm just going to add a bit of sweetener to that as well. And again, it's to taste to your own personal preference on that. I'm running out of spoons again. But I find that the baker's chocolate is really bitter. So it does need a fair amount of sweetener in it for my liking. And again, everybody is slightly different to their preference of sweetness. Okay, so that we're going to set aside for the boys. We're going to flip these. Okay, almost done. And then because this one is a butter, we're just going to melt this like it is. Give the chocolate one a stir. Grab out a boy's plate. And then earlier today I made some fruit gummies to go on the plates, and these are just sugar-free Jell-O. Now if you don't like the chemical that is in the Jell-O, feel free to make it with gelatin, flavoring, and food coloring. You don't have to buy the packaged stuff. But I just used sugar-free Jell-O. I used a pack of cherry and a pack of lime, and then I added a little blue food coloring to get some purple ones too. So these are what the boys' ones look like. They've got the chocolate on the bottom, and then the mint and the chocolate on the inside. And then we're just going to drizzle a bit of chocolate on top of. I'm going to see if I can aim it so that you guys can see a little bit. And honestly, these are good to send for lunches, for snacks, for breakfast too. And then we're gonna, oh, look at that. Danger. Catch it with one finger. I'm so smooth. Okay. And let's see, we want an assortment of the colors. Okay, so that's our boys' plate. Let me move a little stuff out of here. We're going to take out the girls' ones. Okay, let's see. I'm really not all that great at this. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. So then we could see the little dinosaurs on there. And I'll show you guys those a little bit closer up as well after. I'm just going to pop this one in the fridge for right now. And we're going to take these out. Oh, they smell so nice. I'm super excited for these ones. And these are so pretty. Okay, so we're going to put those in the fridge to cool for a minute. And I'm going to show you guys the gummies that I made. And then we're going to plate those. Okay, so the molds I used for these, the ones we're going to use for the mermaid plate are hearts. And we've got, and they are quite a nice gummy texture. I'll bite one so you guys can see. So they are definitely a gummy texture. These ones, I use about 1/3 of a cup of water to the pack of Jell-O. So as opposed to the 2 cups of water you would use, it's only about between 1/3 and 1/2 of a cup, depending on how firm you want them to be. And then we made some really cute mermaid seashells and some starfish, and then some really cute dinosaurs. And they were just quick and easy. I popped them in the fridge a couple hours ago. And that's that. So we'll do the chocolate for the girls. Now, when this is melted, see how it looks just like butter, but it smells like white chocolate. So to that, we're going to add a little bit of sweetener. And we're going to add a little bit of powdered coconut milk. That I also buy bulk. I have seen it in packages. If you're buying it in the package, watch for sugar content. Sometimes they're sneaky sugars because coconut has some naturally occurring sugars already. It's hard to tell if it's a natural sugar or if it's real sugar just by looking at the label sometimes. Now, when this solidifies again, it will look like it did and it will be solid. So I'm just going to put this back in the microwave for another moment. About 10 seconds, I'm going to say. And I heated it for about 20 seconds last time. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to add a little bit of food color to it. And I'm in a teal mood, so we're going to use the teal today. And it'll make like sparkles almost. Okay, so we'll get out the girls' ones. And we're going to do 2 separate plates. Okay, so the mermaid ones get the 3 separate colors. And the unicorn one gets the mixed ones. Okay, and then we'll get some mermaid candies for the mermaid plate. And then we're going to go rainbow hearts with the unicorn plate. And I'm eating a dinosaur. Nobody saw. Ah! And then just because we're going to put a couple berries on each plate. Okay, and same for the boys' plate. And it looks like I shorted them one donut, so let's give them another donut because we all know what would happen in your house if you put out plates where one kid got one less donut. I think we all know that the world would clearly end. I don't know. Around here, even with my nieces and nephews, if it's the wrong colored cup, the world is ending. So I certainly would never risk putting one less donut. And I would never recommend you do either. Okay, so I'm going to hold these so you guys can see them. Okay, so that is the boys' dinosaur plate. The girls' unicorn plate. And I will post pictures on my feed as well. And the girls' mermaid plate. So thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I think tomorrow, we're going to do a late evening. I am going to get my hair color done. Oh, I'm so excited. We're going to touch up the roots, and it's going to be something fun. So I want you to take a last look at, you know, what it looks like today. Tomorrow's going to be different. So I'm thinking, let's get together for cocktails tomorrow night. Let's have a dance party and let's do some more boozy keto. Let's find some more low carb, low sugar drink alternatives because it's going to be Friday night and I'm going to have fancy new hair. And I don't know about you guys, but fancy hair and Friday night says cocktails. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow night. Do a little research, pick a cocktail, hop on with me. Let's make something together. It was great to hang out with you guys. Have a great night.